We are Group 5. Welcome to our presentation video. The first part, Introduction. This study explores how expatriates adapt to living and working in a host country, driving on consequences from cross-cultural management. The findings are based on a theme-structured interview with a professional expatriate currently working in the United States, focusing on work experience, cultural adjustment, and social adaptation. The interviewee is a 44-year-old female from China who has lived in the US for 12 years and has a professional experience in the logistic and supply chain industry.
Career path in the host country. She started from a basic entry-level role because she didn't have a local degree and her English was limited at the beginning. She entered the logistics industry, working on tasks such as data entry, import, export documentation, customs clearance, and transportation coordination. Over time, she learned across departments, gained practical experience, and later started her own business. Challenges and gains. She described her overall experience as challenging but rewarding, particularly at the beginning due to language and cultural difference. Key challenges: first, language barriers; second, credential degree recognition issue; third, learning host country workplace norms and communication expectation. Key gains: expanded cross-cultural competence, stronger career mobility over time, transition to entrepreneurship.
Home country versus host country cultural differences. This slide focuses on cultural differences between China and the United States in terms of workplace culture. According to the interviewee, one of the most noticeable differences is working hours and expectations. In China, long working hours are very common, especially under the so-called 996 culture, where employees work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. Employees are often expected to stay available even after leaving the office, which creates a high-pressure working environment. In contrast, the United States follow a clear 9-5 culture. Working hours are well defined, and personal time after work is respected. Employees are generally not expected to reply to emails or messages outside office hours. Another important difference is hierarchy. In China, authority and authority are strongly respected, and decision making is usually top down. In the US, organizational structures are flatter and open communication between employees and managers is encouraged. These differences show how nature culture strongly influence workplace behavior. Cultural differences observed in the company. This slide focuses on how cultural differences are reflected inside the company. The interviewee observed that work-life balance is clearly protected by company policy. Employees are not expected to respond to work-related messages after office hours, which helps reduce stress and prevent burnout. Teamwork is also strongly encouraged. Employees are invited to share ideas and collaborate across departments rather than competing with each other individually. In addition, the overall work environment is very supportive. Managers and colleagues provide guidance and understanding, which helps expatriates adapt more easily to the host country. This practice reflects the host country's cultural values, especially respect for personal time and employee well-being. S- The radical connection and key insight. This slide connects interviewees' experience to hosted cultural dimensions. First, China is more a collectivist, emphasizing group loyalty and long-term commitment, while the US is more individualistic, valuing personal autonomy and responsibility. This explains why employees in the US have more control over the time. Second, China has a higher power distance, meaning hierarchy is more accepted. The US has low power distance, which encourages open communication between managers and employees. Finally, China is more achievement oriented, while the US places great emphasis on quality of life and balance. Overall, understanding these cultural differences help expatriates adjust more effectively and succeed in cross-cultural workplaces.
In this part, I will talk about her interaction with local people. She felt that locals in the host country were generally friendly and helpful. They were especially patient when they know she was not a native English speaker. Even when misunderstandings happened, people were willing to explain or help. This made daily communication much easier for her. Language was one of her main challenges at the beginning. Her English was limited at first, so work communication took more effort, especially when dealing with documents and clients. However, through daily work and interaction, her English gradually improved. Working in a multicultural environment also helped her understand different work styles. Her social integration was slow but positive. Working with colleagues who had a similar background helped her adjust at first. Over time, she also learned a lot by interacting with people from different cultures. In daily life, she felt that people respected personal space and valued work life balance, which made life feel more relaxed. To sum up, friendly local attitudes, language improvement, and an open environment helped her adjust to life in the host country. Although there were challenges at the beginning, she was able to adapt over time through continuous effort and interaction.
Hi everyone, my name is Pan Jiahui. Now I'm moving on the interview finding about cost of living, well-being, and the fitness these days. The part focused on the real-life difference between China and the United States, based on the interview's person experience. Okay, first look at the living cost, income, and saving. In China, the salary life is generally lower and the competition is very intense. Because of this pressure, it is difficult to save money consistently. In contrast, the cost of living in USA is higher, especially rent, which usually take about 30% of a monthly income. However, the high salary life allows people to save regularly and feel more financially secure. Recognized well-being is closely related to work culture. In China, the interview experienced a high-pressure environment, mainly due to the 996 work culture and the expectation to always be available. This led to high stress and poor work-life balance. In the USA, work-life balance is much higher. The 9 to 5 schedule is respected, and people are encouraged to disconnect after work, which improve mental well-being. Okay, in the next part, I will contact the interview findings with a key series from the cross-cultural management course. The interviewee's experience clearly follows the U-Crew culture adjustment model. At the beginning, she faced culture shock, including language barriers and starting from interlife logistics job. Over time, she adjusted to the local environment, graded experience, and eventually reached at the mastery stage by becoming a supply chain business owner. The case also reflects how fast is the culture dimensions. China is more of a masculine culture with which emphasizes competition, achievement, and long working hours. On the other hand, the USA shows more female traits, such as a well-being, quality of life, work-life balance, and personal well-being. Well, the interview also shows how to overcome the liability of foreigners. She studied as an outside and took interlevel rules and slowly built local knowledge and culture intelligence by accumulating career capital and understanding the local market. She successfully transformed into a business owner. Well, in conclusion, this interview shows that cross-cultural management is not just a business strategy, but a personal innovation. Although high living costs and culture challenges exist, adaptability and continuous learning are key to success. So, most importantly, the honest cultures, respect for work-life balance, is a strong pull factor for foreign professionals. Okay, that's all for our good presentation. Thank you for listening and watching.